Hey guys, this is Shiv here, aka Templar, and I'm the owner of Improx. And today I want to do a video dedicated towards all the new up-and-coming teams in Oceania. I think this is a very heavily debated topic, and at some point in time we did have a recent surge of interest in terms of people trying to tell teams what to do and obviously what not to do to obviously increase their chances of getting picked up. This video is kind of doing the exact same thing, and obviously I want to lay out, hey, how you can make yourself much more desirable to an organization if you are applying to one. And in most instances, I believe in Oceania there is roughly around about, I would probably say 30 teams per game. So there is a lot of competition and a lot of people wanting to be part of organizations, and I feel like there isn't enough organizations to actually field these teams per se. So here are some of the traits that obviously when it comes to applying you should look to apply, and obviously these are some of the traits myself from an organizational point of view would like to see. So obviously professionalism is a very sought out trait when you're applying to someone to be a part of their organization. Consider actually going through the right channels. So obviously, yes, I know people message quite a fair bit of people in Twitter and Discord and all that. I do understand it. Don't always go for the highest person that you see. Go to someone who's a little bit lower and say, hey, look, I'm wanting to apply to be part of this organization. Who is the right person to speak to, and what's the way do I go about it, right? So in some instances, some personnel would then go away, and obviously they'll have their own private chats where they'll message this person and be like, hey, look, this team just approached me. If you were interested in this scene and in this team, how would they go about contacting you? Some people prefer to get contacted on Discord, others prefer like an email based. So do initially take that step to realize which channel they would like to be contacted via. The other thing is obviously the next sense, which is the professionalism in terms of how you display your information, right? Laying out all the things that you can provide, all the things you can do via Twitter or Discord. Definitely a big no-no when it comes to things. What you want to do to obviously increase your chances is actually put out a document, like a Word document, and then change it into a PDF and vice versa, depending on what you want to do. Information about your team. So put down all the information that you think that they're going to ask, like player names, player locations, age, and anything else that you think is relevant. So your team history, how long has the team been together and all that, everything they need to know about your team, possibly the industry that you're in, obviously tournaments competed in, results, current tournaments competing in, and obviously upcoming tournaments as well. So the more that they know, the better decision that they can make. And then obviously then look to present it to them with kind of like a, hey, this is what we can provide for you. So obviously in that segment, do describe how you can benefit the brand that they are going into. Like teams or organizations, they want to know how a new team that's coming under their brand is going to benefit them, and they want to know that, hey, look, you also care about their brand. And so actually putting in that effort to put in like a little blurb, like it can be a couple lines. Like it doesn't really have to be several paragraphs. Like one paragraph is kind of like, I would say like standard, right? Just put a paragraph in, just saying, hey, look, this is how we can help your brand be better with our involvement. So this is how we can help your brand increase your influence in our scene or our game. And the next thing you obviously want to do is obviously pitch to them, hey, look, in order for us to do this, we would like to ask for you to provide, and you obviously can list what sort of needs that you have as a team. And obviously do state that you're willing to negotiate as well. That's another thing as well that a lot of people don't understand. Yes, in some instances, obviously negotiation is not possible because these are kind of set costs that you do need catered for. But do remember, like, you have to meet people in the middle. Like, you can't just be on your kind of own pedestal and require them to pretty much, deliver everything because you said so, you know. So it is a negotiation overall when you do talk to these organizations. Now the reason why you want to put it in a document format and then submit it to the right personnel is that because then they have all the information there. When they look over it, they can scan through to find the right information. They can then go and present it to the personnel that are looking to pick the team up, or potentially pick the team up, and they can either go, yes, this is a guarantee, or no, this is not a guarantee. And usually this is a way to filter out whether or not that they're interested in actually being picked up. So this is a pretty good way to kind of narrow down your choices pretty quickly. Generally what will happen is if they're not interested, they'll tell you no from the get-go. But if they're interested, they will probably come back with a couple more questions. So when they do start asking more questions, feel free to now go forward and actually put forward replies with as much detail as you possibly can. And sometimes you may even have to request a meeting, right? So don't be afraid to request a meeting. Do remember, the more that they know about you, the more they get to relate with you, and the more it increases your chances of getting picked up by an organization. And obviously the reasons why you want to do all of this stuff is obviously because there are, I'd probably say 30 unique teams per game in Oceania, and there aren't many organizations in Oceania that can pick up all these teams, right? So obviously there is a little bit of competition in terms of who gets to pick who and so forth. So trying to stand out via your application to be a part of these organizations is going to be substantially beneficial to you. So yeah, that's all I wanted to kind of like say in terms of to the up and coming esports teams. I do know that most of the players in these are fairly young. I believe the esports demographic for teams and players are generally around about, I think, 16 all the way up to 24. But yeah, so I do understand they're a little bit young. They're not well, versed in the business industry. So obviously, hopefully this helps them out a little bit more in terms of trying to solidify a esports organization or a brand that can represent them. Awesome. Well, anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening, and yeah, look out for the next video.